In 1973, undefeated heavyweight George Foreman was set to face undefeated heavyweight champion Joe Frazier in Kingston, Jamaica. As a champion who had beaten Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier was a 3-1 favorite going into the fight. Despite this, Big George Foreman steamrolled him, knocking him down 6 times and securing the TKO in the second round. Whenever we see such a dominant performance against a fellow great, the natural question comes to mind: how did he do it? The bulk of Joe Frazier's game is predicated upon his head movement and left hook. Proactive head movement makes him a moving target, naturally harder to hit than a still one, and the left hook a devastating punch that had to be respected. If you want to beat Joe Frazier, you have to take advantage of these habits. George Foreman did so through a pair of double attacks. A double attack meaning 2 weapons that can play off of each other and play with the opponent's expectations. These were the jabs and pushing, as well as the left hook and uppercut. Within the opening seconds of the fight, we see Foreman cracked with the leaping left hook by Frazier. Frazier's left hook is quite a versatile tool. He wants to get into range to land it, while also using it as a tool to get himself within range, being the shorter fighter at heavyweight in most instances. In order to prevent Frazier from fighting within his preferred range, Foreman's answer were the jabs and pushes. Frazier's left hook is also predicated by a level change. Frazier's head is always moving, and this level change doesn't let Foreman know whether he's going to be leaping into range or just proactively moving his head. After having landed his initial hook, Frazier began using these level changes, constantly moving his head to keep Foreman aware of the threat. Being such a tall and long man, Foreman simply put his hands on the shoulders and pushed him away, pulling Frazier forward from these posts and circling around him so he didn't have a still target. Foreman wasn't known as the most evasive heavyweight, but these shoulder posts allowed him to pull Frazier around the ring, constantly circling to keep him moving rather than attacking. As Frazier had to leap into range to land, Foreman could simply jab and maintain his preferred range while damaging Frazier. When up against the ropes, he poked Frazier with the jab, easily evading any follow-up shots as Frazier leapt in with the left hook. These jabs introduced a threat at Foreman's preferred range. His natural power made them significant, and also made Frazier contend with something before he thought about leaping into range. And if Frazier finally did find himself within range to punish the body or land his left, Foreman would simply post on the shoulders again and push him away. These 2 weapons were pertinent at maintaining this long range for Foreman: the pushing to keep Frazier in this range, and the jabs to introduce a threat from this range. The real magic of these weapons came out when he started using them in tandem. Any time Foreman would stick his left hand out, Frazier didn't know whether it was going to his shoulder or his head, hence the idea of the double attack. Introducing 2 tools that have the same starting motion to the opponent so they don't know whether you're going to keep range or jab them in the face. This uncertainty breeds hesitancy and often desperation. Not only was Frazier being denied from his preferred fighting range, in close where he could land his left, but he was also being damaged at this range. With Frazier so uncertain, Foreman could now introduce his more damaging weapons, the uppercut and the left hook. As stated before, Frazier's head movement is prolific and proactive. His head is not a still target. He is always moving it so that his opponent has to work in order to hit it. While this is a good idea in a vacuum, it is a habit, and habits can be taken advantage of. Frazier's constant head movement also provides more momentum for his left hooks. Moving with the punch makes it more powerful. Not only could Foreman's jabs be converted into his posts and frames, but they could be used to induce head movement as well. Rather than reacting to Frazier's head movement, Foreman is simply taking advantage of a habit that he expected and produced with his own offense. Now, how is it that the left hook and the uppercut can take advantage of this head movement? The left hook can force Frazier to weave out, making him more susceptible to the uppercut, and the uppercut can stand him up while he's moving his head, making him more susceptible to the left hook follow-up. Anytime Foreman began throwing a flurry of hooks, he would start moving his head, weaving under them. And just as he's at the lowest point, he's most susceptible to move right into an uppercut from Foreman that dropped him. Two simple strikes that complement each other so nicely and are perfect to take advantage of a movement who moves their head as much as Frazier does. By the end of the fight, Frazier was flustered. Having been knocked down 5 times previously, he barely knew what to do anymore. So he kept moving his head and kept getting hit with the uppercut, standing up straight in his stance, where Foreman could now unleash his rear straight to knock him down and finally end the fight. Through 2 simple double attacks, George Foreman was able to completely negate Joe Frazier's offense and land on a banding with him, taking advantage of his usually positive habits. The jab and pushing, as well as the uppercut with the left hook, worked beautifully together to allow George Foreman to finally wear the crown of heavyweight champion. The great big George Foreman unfortunately passed away this past Friday, March 21st. While this is his very impressive title-winning performance, he has loads of other classic fights, including his comeback win at the age of 45 to win the title against Michael Moore in 1994. George Foreman was a truly special boxer, and I'm gutted at his passing. I implore you to watch more of his fights and more of his incredible career, for he is a cornerstone in the history of heavyweight boxing. As a fight analyst, this is the best way I thought of to give thanks and an homage to his incredibly storied life and career. Thank you, Big George. May God bless your soul, and may you rest easy in heaven. Thank you for being such a legend.